Hi everyone, welcome to Duo 3. Today I'll be sharing with everyone more shortcuts building on the previous session of shortcuts which I shared with everyone. So without further ado, let me start on the first shortcut for today. So today I'll be sharing firstly on how to unfilter an entire set of data. So over here I have a similar set of data which we used in the previous session. So let's say if we have already filtered off some of the information over here, and how do we do unfilter all? So to unfilter all, we will hit on Alt DFS. So Alt DFS will unfilter the entire data. So why is this unfilter shortcut good? It's because instead of doing clear filter from individual labels, right, individual headers, which if you are working on a large data set, you might not be able to cover the entire range of data. Hitting on Alt DFS will ensure that your data is all unfiltered. So Alt DFS, one of a few shortcuts that is critical if you are working on auto filters regularly. So moving on to the second shortcut, Alt AGG, which is grouping selected rows and data together. So over here, if we still recall the last sessions, how we select columns and rows, hitting on Control spacebar and Shift spacebar allows you to select the entire column and row respectively. So if we want to group this particular column or like sort of hide and unhide, we hit on Alt AGG over here to group the data together. So if we select two columns, we hit on Alt AGG, we group them together. So it becomes you can collapse and expand it. So if we learn group, we definitely need to learn ungroup. So how do we ungroup this if we accidentally group incorrect set? So how to ungroup will be Alt AUU, Alt AUU ungroups the data, right? So how do I remember this? G will be group, U will be ungroup. So at least that's how I remember my shortcuts myself. So moving on to shortcut 4. So shortcut 4, we are trying to learn how to view the formulas within the individual cells itself. So over here, the bold text, right, the bold figures contain formula within it. So how do we review if the formulas in there are actually correct? So in order to review, we can either go individually one by one to look into the formulas. Alternatively, we can hit on Control tilde. So the tilde sign is this curly wavy sign over here, which you can find just below your escape button. So hitting on Control tilde will give you the formulas within individual cells itself. So over here, in this fashion, you can review all the formulas in one glance, right? So how do we revert back to the normal? We hit on Control tilde again and it will go back to normal, right? That's shortcut 4. So moving on to shortcut 5, we will learn how to delete selected rows and columns. So to select the column, you hit on Control spacebar if you still recall. And then if you want to remove this particular column, you hit on Control minus, right? Control minus removes it. And if you want to increase or add a column or row here, you hit on Control plus. Control plus inserts a row or column, depends on what you have selected. So let me undo this so that we can continue with the next few shortcuts. So it's quite easy to remember how to remove or add selected rows or columns. Just remember, minus is to remove, plus is to add. Minus is to remove, plus is to add. So shortcut 5 and 6, that's what we are covering. Moving on to shortcut 7, Shift F11. So what this does is basically adds a worksheet to the workbook itself. So hitting on Shift F11 adds a new worksheet on the workbook, right? It's pretty simple, but you might find it useful if you don't really have a mouse in handy to click over onto this small little icon over here, right? And if you hover over it, you actually find the shortcut is stated over there, Shift F11. Okay, so moving on to shortcut 8. Shortcut 8 we are trying to learn here is to trace precedence and trace dependent for shortcut trace dependent for shortcut 8 and trace precedence for shortcut 9. So how do we do that? So going to a formula cell, we want to trace where this formula what this formula makes up of. So we trace the dependent of this formula. We hit on control square bracket, open square bracket. Control open square bracket brings you to where this particular cell that you have selected looks up to. So what is made of, it will highlight the entire range or all the cells that you are in contact with for this particular cell, which I've selected just now, cell E18, right? And to go backwards, which is to trace the precedence, we'll hit on control close square bracket. Control close square bracket will give you the precedence, which shows you where it's going to link to, right? So if there are multiple places that this particular cell is linked to, it will show you both the different cells. So in this case, if you are focusing on cell E11, it will be looking up into E18 as well as G11, right? So that's tracing dependence and tracing precedence. And last but not least, for today we'll be covering on the save as shortcut, which is simply F12. So instead of going to file and looking for save as, we will just hit on F12 and we'll pop up the save as box for you to key in the desired name. Let's say if you want to modify your name, going into version 3, hitting on F12 will give you the save as box for you to save your new file, your file under the new file name. So I hope this shortcut session has been useful for you guys, and look forward to sharing more shortcuts with you guys next time. Thanks everyone.